thank him for raising up the most humble and honorable Elijah Muhammad. And we thank them both for their late leaving in our midst. The Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, I'd like to greet you all to greet the words of peace and paradise. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam, sir.
Listen, I am grateful for those who are here.
Yes, sir.
You know, we have some believers that are traveling there.
Yes.
Some went to attend a fashion show that took place in New York.
Yes.
And some other things came up, but guess what? You will not be deprived.
Come on.
I don't want you to think that at all, right?
Yes, sir.
I will give you, as I say, our sister Anita Baker said, giving you the best that I got. That's going to be my actual goal, right?
Yes, sir.
So, as I said, we're thankful that you are here, and we want to continue with this series that we've been doing over the last month, where we're examining the faith of Abraham. And for most of you all are familiar with who Abraham is. He is one of the major religious, major figures in both Islam, Christianity, and Judaism,
Yes,
right?
yes.
And in part one, we talked about Abraham's faith, and we dealt with the question of, does God keep his word? And we looked at it from the standpoint that Abraham was promised by God at the age of 75 that he's going to have a child,
Yes.
right? And Abraham did not doubt that he was going to have a child. Sarah heard it and she kind of laughed. She's like, man, she was like, I'm in my upper ages. I ain't having no child, right? And we just talked about that experience and related to us, because God may have not promised you and I that we're going to have a child in our older age. But there are some things that our spirit tells us, that we read and we believe that God is going to bless us with.
Yes.
And then there begins to be that trial between that feeling of God promising us something and then it actually happening. There's a lot that goes on between there, is that right? And sometimes believers grow in faith during that period, and sometimes some people lose faith.
Yes.
But we pointed out, and the rest of the lecture is on YouTube, that God does keep his promise.
Oh, yes.
But there is something that you and I have to do, right? And then in part two, we talked about, why do the promises of God come with trials? Because we've been taught religion in such a way where we've been taught it where we just think that everything is given to us and we shouldn't have to experience any difficulty. And it's that understanding that has really turned people away from religion. And really, you read Bible and Quran, God doesn't promise anybody a life walking on a yellow brick road.
That's right.
God don't promise that. And if you look at how those who are considered to be like the apple of God's eye, Prophet Muhammad, right? Jesus,
Yes.
they went through hell,
Yes.
right? So if they experienced that, who should we allow to make us believe that we're going to live life and we ain't going to have any difficulty?
Right.
When in truth, if we understand, difficulty is what really helps to connect us to our own greatness.
Yes, sir.
And if we didn't run into some difficulty sometimes, you and I wouldn't know about the fight that we have in ourselves, right? That ability to get knocked down and keep going and to overcome. Yeah. So today, which may be the last installment, we want to talk about a faith that stands alone becomes a blueprint for others, right? We got the wrong one, Brother Lawrence. So it says a faith that stands alone becomes a blueprint for others, right? And here's the thing. I don't want any of us just to hear the title and bob our head and nod our head and say, man, that's a good title. I want you to understand how this topic matters to each and every one of us, right? And I want to give us two ways of why this message can change how you and I see our own faith. One, first, this message reminds us that our struggles are not wasted. When your faith stands firm in lonely seasons, God is shaping you and preparing your life to guide someone else, right? The second thing is, it shows that your faith is bigger than you. And I'm saying your faith is also my faith. How you handle trials can awaken faith in your family, your friends, and even those who are silently watching, right? So in part two, we talked about how, the close of the lecture, how Hagar, who was a handmaiden of Sarah, where she was placed outside of the home of Abraham, right?
Yes.
And there was controversy around Abraham's domestic life, right? Now, in the Quran, the Bible talks about how Sarah, Abraham's wife, got upset because Ishmael was allegedly making fun of Isaac. Right. And Sarah was like, I can't take this anymore. I want that woman and I want her child out of our house. Yes, now, you can imagine the hell that the dilemma that Abraham was put in. Yes. And then it says that God told Abraham to listen to what Sarah said, according to the Bible. Now, according to the Holy Quran, it says that Abraham was instructed by God to give Hagar and his son Ishmael some supplies and sit them in this region that was unproductive. And we just talked about that, right? And here this lady who finds herself with her child in an area where she is in need of water. Yes. She's in need of sustenance. Is that right? Yes. And as I thought about that, I thought about the many black women in our community who are raising children by themselves. Yes, but they find a way to make things happen. Oh, yes. Is that right? Our mothers who have raised us by themselves, sometimes we don't even know the burden that they have on them. How they had to rob Peter to pay Paul and Shaniqua. But they made it happen. Yes, with that same smile, yes. With that same grace, with that still being that same loving mother. And unfortunately, sometimes they do that for children who don't appreciate it. That's right. Right? They do that and pour out into their children, not realizing that mom doesn't have anybody to pour into her. So she's drained. Is that right? But just as God was there for Hagar, God has been there for our mothers. Yes, yes. And you see these women produce stars. You see them produce athletes. Where when these brothers get these trophies, when they get these contracts, they say, I want to thank mama. Yes, is that right? Yes, and they want to thank mama after thanking God. Yes. Which bears witness to something that Prophet Muhammad said. He said that who is the most important after Allah's servant? And they asked him that question, and he said, mother. Yes. Then they asked him again, he said, mother. And they asked him again, he said, mother 3 times. That's right. And it shows you the value of the mother, but it also shows you the value of the woman. Yes, sir. Right? So in the Hadith, they actually said that when Abraham placed Hagar and Ishmael in this region, that Hagar asked Abraham, did God tell you to do this? And he said, yes. And she said, so be its will. Think about that, right? The faith that was in her, but it was also in Ishmael, because we're told that when Abraham was asked to sacrifice Ishmael, Ishmael asked him, did God tell you to do this? And when Abraham said yes, a child said, so be it. You see the faith that came, it only not was in Abraham, but it was also in Hagar, and it was also in his child. But we talked about how Hagar developed that faith independent of her husband. Because this man is a man that says that I met God. Is that right? But God did not want her to come to him based on Abraham's faith. No, God said, I want you to come to me based upon your faith. Yes. I want you to know that I support you just like I support him. Yes. But how could she know that if she was not in a position where she would need to rely on God and not on Abraham? Because some people do that. I'm going to church as long as you go to church. I'm going to the mosque as long as you going to the mosque. I'm going to be here as long as the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan is here. Or some people said, I'm going to be here. They may have not verbalized, but in their minds, I'm going to be here as long as I can see the Lamb of God, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. But when he was taken from among us, all those long-lived Honorable Elijah Muhammad began to faint. Come on now. All the white garments and all the suit and bow ties began to be put away. And God doesn't want a people who are like that, that you're going to worship the one he raised. No, I want you to know that I am God. And I was with you in the beginning, and I'm going to be with you in the end. Is that right? Yes. So Hagar found herself in the desert, running from to and fro, dehydrated. And Islamic scholars say she would climb up on one mountain, look over and say, where's my help? Then she didn't see her help, and she would run down to another mountain and look up and crawl up and look and say, where's my help? And she ran back and forward only to discover the help and the solution she was looking for was beneath her own feet.
Yes, sir.
Think about that. As we sit here, where are we running? Who are we running to? Looking for something that God has already put in us. All of us have those moments where we're running to a relationship to make us feel whole.
Come on, teach.
I gotta have this woman in my life, because without her, I don't feel like I'm anything. How could you not feel that way when it's God who created her and you? Well, I gotta have this man, or I gotta have this job, I gotta have this car, and we don't realize we make that our God. And then when it's taken away, it feels like the sun has vanished, right? So what was interesting, when she stopped, the same angel that God sent to Prophet Muhammad, God sent to Hagar.
Come on.
The same angel. And Jibril came down and they said that he struck the earth and then a fountain of water came up. That is to show her and is to show us that I got you like I got them. That God will come to your aid, my aid, the same way he came to Moses. God will come to your aid, my aid, the same way he came to Jesus, the same way he came to Prophet Muhammad. And guess what? The same way he came to the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. God will come to our aid like that as well, right? So last week I tried to use her life as an example for all of us who feel abandoned, right? For all of us who cry and we feel not only are our cries not answered, but they're not even heard. That's a painful thing. Imagine being in a place where there's a lot of people and you crying for help and people just walk by you. Some of us had that experience growing up as children, and it still affects us today as adults. But even though people may have not heard our cry, the mere fact that you and I are here, guess who did hear our cry? God heard it, right? So when we go through those moments, we have to quiet the storm in our minds. We got to quiet those emotions. We got to quiet that pain and begin to start looking for the hand of God and the help of God. And also to be patient enough to wait for it. And not lose our faith, right? Now check this out. As a result of Hagar's trial and her successfully passing that test in her life, now two of the most, guess he doesn't have it, that's not it, two of the most sacred rituals, now this is not the one, two of the most sacred rituals in Islam are based upon her trial. This woman was running back and forth, and she probably never knew that what you're going through is going to be a ritual that millions of Muslims are going to engage in every year.
Come on now.
But if you didn't go through it, they wouldn't have this ritual to engage in to build their faith. And then in addition to that, where the well sprung, this is where the holy city of Mecca was established.
Come on.
All because of a trial that a woman experienced in this part of the world. Sometimes our faith becomes a blueprint for other people's faith. Sometimes what we go through, we don't even realize that God is using us as an example for somebody else. Remember the blind man? When the disciples were asking him, why is this man blind? Did his parents commit a sin? And Jesus said, no, he was born that way. So that he can be he can glorify God. What's in your life? What pain, what trial, what discomfort is in your life, or that was in your life, that you and I don't realize that God used it to glorify him and to bring others to faith? Because God just don't use people in these Bibles and this Quran. We hear every day.
Go ahead.
Experiencing life, is that right?
Yes, sir.
So what that teaches us is that we can be a sign for others, right? If we stand firm through our hardship, our faith becomes a testimony that others watch and learn how to trust God during the storm, and it can lead them to seek him. I open up talking about our mothers. How many of us learn to persevere from watching mom? How many of us learn how to take something and make something out of nothing by watching mom? Right? Huh? How many of us learn to hold our head up despite the world weighing us down? Because what we saw in our mom, our grandmother, or even our fathers who did their best. That's an example in our own lives of the faith of someone else becoming a blueprint for us. That when we go through similar experiences, we know how to keep our head up and don't let this world drown us. Is that right? This is one of the major reasons why we read this Bible and Quran. Because it's filled with, the Bible and Quran is filled with human beings who went through some things. And once we mature and stop being so looking at the scripture in a romanticized way, we begin to start seeing that these people had some real challenges in their lives. That sometimes they were up and sometimes they were down. That sometimes God had to remind him, get up and stop weighing yourself in pity. Stop thinking that I've forsaken you because difficulty has approached your doorstep.
Come on.
He had to tell Prophet Muhammad that. He said that I haven't forsaken you. Wasn't I with you when you were an orphan? Wasn't I with you when you did not have anything? And then he told the prophet, your latter days are going to be better than your former days. But right now, I got to build your faith. Right now, I got to let you know because I'm going to use you as a tool to call many other people to me. And I got to let them see that I support my man, even though it looks like the world is bigger than him, I'm going to make him the winner. Is that right? And look at Mecca. As beautiful as this city is, if Hagar would have not gone through what she would have gone through, this wouldn't be here. So how can an Islamic world in this day and age come back and try to oppress women? When it's a woman who's at the not only a woman, a black woman, who's the basis of this ritual. Is that right? That's how you know that they have gone off course. And this is when they talk about the Hajj, when they go back and forth and they do it. And here's this is some of the pilgrims participating in this Hajj. This is a ritual. If you're a Muslim, if you want to go over there, go over there. But understand that the true Hajj is taking our will and submitting it to God's will. That's the true Hajj. That's the true journey. And if any of us have tried it 10%, we know it's a very tough journey. We might be able to master the physical expressions. Or I'm going to pray. Or I'm going to dress this way. But what about here? What about in the heart? What about those emotions? What about those passions? What about those desires? Can we line them up to what God desires? That's the journey. And that's the true, as the Prophet Muhammad said, that's the true jihad. Ain't about going and get an AK-47 and shoot somebody. Some men came back from a war and it was like, Prophet, we just left the jihad. And the Prophet said, y'all just left the minor jihad. Now imagine that you got a wound from a knife. You done got shot, somebody amputated. And you think you out there fighting in the name of Allah and this is the major jihad and he lets you know, oh no, son. That's the minor jihad. And when they asked him, well, what's the major jihad? He says the battle with self. To go to war with the lower desires. And as we talked about last week, that's really the essence of the story about David and Goliath. It ain't about no man knocking down no giant. It's about a man going to war with the beastly desires in himself.
Right. Good point.
When David got ready to see Goliath, he was like, oh, I know I can handle him. And they were like, how do you know you can handle him? How do you know you're so sure? He said, because I've already killed the bear and the lion with my own hands. How do you know that that's more than that story to that story? Because there are no bears and there are no lions where David in the Bible is said to live. See, we got to think critically when we look into the scripture, or if not, we're going to keep having this Alice in Wonderland understanding of it. Teaching generations that there was a man in Palestine, he took 5 stones and he knocked out this big giant. But what if we told him is that son or daughter, as you live this life, you got to look into your mind. And you got to find that animalistic desire in you. You got to find that beast that roams your mind and roams your spirit. And when you find it, you got to choke the hell out of it. And guess what? After you choke the hell out of it, you may think it's gone, but it's hibernating. And if you don't stay examining your mind and examining your spirit, that animal that you kill, it wakes up. But if you're on your post, walking it in the perfect manner, keeping always on the alert, we're looking for that weed to jump up in our spirit. We're looking for that which will choke away the life of God in us, the zeal of God, the love of God. And when we find it, we remove it. Whether it is a man, whether it is a woman, whether it's a father, a mother, job, whatever it is. I'm going to remove anything that's going to stand between me and my ability to submit to God. And when I do that, anything outside of myself is not a competition, because I've already went to war with the greatest enemy I can have, which is my own demons. That's what it's about. Is that right? So the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said the following, and that's the minister. When they be trying to say, oh, the minister, y'all not Muslims, y'all not this. Well, the minister went on the Hajj.
That's right.
If going on the ritual make us Muslims, now what? He went on it. Exactly, right? He says, the lives of the prophets will cause us to see the ups and downs, the ebb and the flow of our lives when we are committed to a very consequential mission. This knowledge will not permit us to give up because of a temporary setback. There are far too many quitters. Far too many people interpret difficulty as a sign to quit rather than difficulty as a sign of I'm close to my goal. That's the God mindset. When we're talking about the black man and woman as God, it's saying you use your force and your power to produce change in your life.
Yes, sir.
That when that difficulty comes, I'm going to use this force and this power that I say is in me to make this difficult, to overcome this difficulty. But we live in a world now where when we face that difficulty, most people succumb to it. Most people seek guidance and refuge in alcohol, cigarettes, smoking, whatever it may be. Some people, as strange as it is, they even use it in religion. Use religion as a cover for our cowardice to challenge the things in our life. And you wonder why we have the condition that the world is in the condition that it's in. We have a lot of people who talk about God, but not a lot of people who don't realize that God created us in his image and his likeness. And he says in the Holy Quran that I don't change the condition of a people till they first change it themselves. In one translation, he says until they first change their thinking and their actions. It's because their thinking and their actions is what caused the problem. If we are mature enough, and if we really examine our life, most of the problems that we personally have, outside of what this Satan has done, is because of our own decisions. Either out of ignorance or the inability to stand up for ourselves. So we allow somebody to enforce their will on us, and they impact our life in a negative way. Because we didn't love ourselves enough in that moment to say, no, I'm drawing the boundary right here. No, I'm not doing that. I deserve better. My time is important. And then we get mad because we allow them to put their will on us, and now we're living in their reality, not our own. Or because of fear. I've been there. Where I wanted to do something and I let somebody else fear stop my desire. And I hated it, and I said, I will never do that again. Because it's not my fault that they don't see the vision. All of us been there, go through our lives.
Yes.
And then we live our lives feeling regret and blaming somebody else. But when we peel it all of the way, I didn't stand up for myself.
Open eye.
I didn't say be, and it is. Is that right? So when we look at even the history of Prophet Muhammad, this is a good study. Go and look at the early development of the history of the Muslims in Arabia. It is filled with nothing but stories who people's faith, the prophet's faith, and even some of the believers' faith, inspire faith in others. It's filled with them, right? So in the early days of Prophet Muhammad, he's in Mecca around nothing but pagans who making money off of this polytheism.
Yeah.
They got they have the Kaaba filled with 365 different gods,
Yes.
statues.
Yes.
They had a god for every day of the week. And they charging people, making all of this money, and here this illiterate man
Yes.
said that he was in a cave and God sent his angel and told him, thus says the Lord. And this illiterate man comes back and starts saying that, oh, y'all got to remove all of these idols from the Kaaba. And when he did that, it put his life in danger. They start saying, who is he? Who is this man?
Go ahead.
But from the faith of Prophet Muhammad, he began to start calling more and more Muslims. Prophet Muhammad would go out to pray and experience some of the worst humiliation that people would have ever experienced, right? But it didn't weaken his faith.
Come on.
His faith and his endurance under some of the most horrific circumstances caused people to accept Islam. He had an uncle by the name of Hamzah. And he wasn't really into religion like that, but he respected his nephew. But one day he came back from hunting, and this woman said, oh, you should have saw how that dude talked to your nephew. This man, Abu Joal, whatever his name was. He said he talked to your nephew so disrespectful. And all your nephew was doing was trying to pray and teach people about what God has done. And when Hamzah heard that, he was so incensed that he went straight to the man in front of all of his friends who talked to his nephew in that way. And they said he had a bow in his hand, and he took the bow and whacked the man dead in his head. And dared everybody else to get up and do something.
Come on.
And the man started bleeding from his head, but Hamzah had such a reputation that people were afraid. And Hamzah told him, will you insult him even if I'm a part of the religion? And from that day, Hamzah accepted Islam. But it was his faith that he saw in his nephew that despite being treated like that, his nephew didn't waver. His nephew didn't shake in his legs and shake in his knees and say, let me give up this Allah stuff because it's too hard. Right? And look at what the historians say. Scholars say Hamzah became a Muslim, and this put teeth into the faith. Meaning that they had some people that were in the Islamic community that wasn't going to take somebody disrespecting them. That now your disrespect has a great potential to be met with a consequence. We understand that, is that right? Some of the Quraysh were careful about, like I said, they even became careful about calling him a poet. So you know if they didn't want to call him a poet, you know about some of the other disrespectful stuff. Because they felt like after they say that, they might find a fist in their mouths. Right? Then there was one by the name of Umar. And they said that Umar was a tormentor of the early believers. Like he used to physically assault some of them. And one day he got so tired of this Prophet Muhammad stuff, he said, I'm going to his house and I'm going to kill Prophet Muhammad. So he was on his way with his sword to kill Prophet Muhammad, and he ran into this man. This man said, where you going all charged up? He said, I'm going to kill Prophet Muhammad. And the man told him, well, before you kill Prophet Muhammad, you might need to get your own house in order. He said, what you mean? He said, your sister and her husband practice Islam. And Umar said, what? So Umar made a U-turn to go straight to her house. And when he got there, he heard them reading segments of the Quran. And when they heard him at the door, they put the sheets away. And he said, what were you all reading? And they were telling him, oh, we were just mumbling, we were just talking. He said, no, and he smacked his sister. Blood came from her mouth. And he said, what were you all reading? Give it to me. She said, I will not allow you to read it because you are, like she said, your hands are filthy because you are a disbeliever. And no matter how much he threatened her, her fate was like, you will have to kill me before I give you pages of God's word. And it shook him so much that she said, the historian said they saw a change in his demeanor. So he left, went and washed up, and then came back and asked for the pages, and they gave it to him, and he read it, and he accepted Islam. Based upon her faith, right? And look what scholars said. Listen, he brought a whole new, I'm going to give you this uptown translation of it. He brought a whole new bout it spirit to the Muslim community. He brought what Cedric Entertainer said, I wish it would spirit. He saw them hiding, praying, and all of that. He told them, stop hiding in your houses praying. No, we're going to pray in the public. And I wish somebody would do something.
Come on.
So look what it said. Many Muslims claim that it was with Umar's conversion, Islam recruited new strength, and Muslims were emboldened to dare the pagans. It says, they could, according to these claims, now come out of their places of hiding and pray openly in precincts of the Kaaba, or rather it was Umar himself who brought them out of their hiding places, and they were not afraid of Abu Jahl. He was one of the major hypocrites that opposed the Prophet, or anyone else. This man went from being one who wanted to kill the Prophet to now being one of his most strongest defenders. What made the change? It was the faith of somebody else. Is that right? The faith of somebody else. So when we look at that and see what it goes through, what about us, right? It's filled with many examples. But as we sit here, how have others seen our faith? During the good times, during the bad times, and during the ugly times. Have they seen us talking about faith when things are tight? But then when that bank account looks good, they don't hear us talking about how good God is. It's all about let's go party. Or do they hear us giving glory to God? Or do they hear us during the good times talking about how good God is? But then when those means are straight and when things get tough, now we saying, oh, why is my God cursing me? Why are you mad at me, God? How do people see us in our faith, right? And listen, we find other stories just like in Islam. We find them also in the Bible, the Bible as well. One of them is the Hebrew boys, where they were placed in the furnace because they refused to worship a God other than the children of Israel, God that they had known.
That's right.
So it says, it's a symbolic story, has a lot to do, but we just taking the principle. They were placed in a furnace.
Yeah.
And the scripture says the furnace was so hot that it burned the soldiers and killed the soldiers who put them in the furnace.
Go ahead.
But while they were in the furnace, the king looked and he said, man, didn't we put 3 people in the furnace?
Come on now.
And they said, yes, sir. He said, well, why do I see 4?
Go ahead.
And that 4, the scripture says, was a son of man.
Yeah. Yeah.
But was also, Daniel and the Hebrew boys had that I don't care type of faith.
Right.
They looked the king in the face and said, he said, will your God save you? And they told the king, they said, even if he don't save us, he's still God.
Right.
Think about that.
Yeah.
That's some bold stuff.
Oh.
That even if I got to die at the hands of your wicked hands,
Go ahead.
God is still God.
Oh, yes.
Even if you hang me, even if you dismember me, guess what? God is still God.
Come on.
Even if you cut my head off and I got one more thing I'm going to say, I'm going to say, God is still God.
See.
Their faith was so strong that the king even said, he gave a decree to everybody in his kingdom. He said that anybody found disrespecting their gods, I'm going to punish.
Yeah.
Think about that. So the king's faith was inspired by their faith,
Yes.
right? Think of that's a hell of a story, right? Then there was another one where there was these 2, it was Paul and Silas. They were thrown in jail.
Yes.
And they were thrown in jail and locked in jail, and there was a jailer, the guardsmen out watching them. And people thought that they were going to be sad. They're in there praising God, singing hymns. And they praised God so much, they said that an earthquake took place and the cell door opened up.
Yes, sir.
And the jailer was kind of, damn, man, the cell door opened up. They're gone. But when he saw it, he thought they were gone. Paul and Silas said, we're still here. And then it said as a result of that, the jailer, the guardsmen began to start asking him, tell me more about your God. Their faith produced faith in him.
Come on.
Right? So as we're talking about a standalone faith, right? So when we look at this family, sometimes your faith is going to be the only Bible somebody reads. Sometimes your example is going to be the only Quran somebody reads.
That's right.
Sometimes your and my faith is going to be the only lecture somebody reads.
Go ahead, teach.
They may learn about Islam not from what they've heard, but what they saw in us. That's why when we're going through things, we can't hold our head down.
Come on.
We can admit that, yeah, it's difficult. Yeah, I want this rain, this storm to pass by me, but I know it's not going to last forever. And I know it's not going to last forever because I've been in worse situations before. And look at me now, I'm still here. Is that right? As I begin to study this more, family, I begin to start realizing why God gave Abraham the title of the friend of God. Because Abraham had one test after a test after a test after a test. All through his life, he's tested, right? Then he asks for a child. He gets the child. God says, while he's enjoying the child, man, go sacrifice him. But before the sacrifice, he's asking for it, I want a child. God said, you get a child. I'm going to give you a child under these uncommon methods, or this uncommon circumstance.
Yes.
Not from Sarah, but from her handmaiden. And now you're going to have your first child, but now you got to deal with all the gossip and slander of everybody else. Everybody else, yeah, the barber shops, the salon, he ain't no man of God. Talking all that. Talking about he met God. You mean to tell me the God you met can't allow Sarah? Didn't God tell Sarah you're going to have a child? And God still kept the word even with that because she had Isaac.
She did.
But he tested Abraham.
Yeah, come on.
Like sometimes when you read the scripture, put yourself in that. You asking for a child and it come like this. What would be your thoughts? Like, damn, God, why you had to do this? You playing jokes on me? But Abraham didn't care about the noise outside of him because his faith was strong. Now after you go through that, you think it's heaven after this, it's paradise. Then you hear a voice, go sacrifice that boy. The boy I waited for until I was 84 years to have? But Abraham didn't hesitate 1 second. He was already on his way up the mountain.
Come on.
Ready to sacrifice, right?
Right.
So every trial that he had, he passed it, and he didn't think evil about God. So God knew he had somebody he could depend upon, and he told him, you are my friend. Like, you don't become a friend of God without being tested.
That's right.
Oftentimes, we allow people to wear that title, and we ain't test them. And then when they show opposite, we all hurt, but you never tested them. You never examined to see if they had jealousy or envy in their heart. You never watched to see if they were applauding you when you were being praised. We didn't pick up on the little sly stuff that they will say. But then when circumstances manifested, we all upset. When we ain't do the examination. Follow the example of God. Before we throw this title of friend on somebody, test them to see if they're worthy about that.
Yes, sir.
Just let them be friends on Facebook. That's enough. Throughout those trials, Abraham remained faithful, right? But as I was studying this, Abraham's faith reminded me of the faith of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad and the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, who have stood the test of time, one trial after another, right? Think about the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. He's in there soldiering all these people. They all came to hear Master Farrakhan Muhammad teaching in these buildings during the Great Depression. And they didn't have no problem with him. Elijah was their best friend until Master Farrakhan Muhammad said, can I select who I want to be my minister? Oh, yes, sir, you can select. But in their mind, they're thinking, oh, he about to select me. But then he selects that one in the temple that they walked around thinking that, man, this man barely can talk. Man, this man got all these children. Man, this man was just on the railroad about to be ran over. This man barely can tell. Him and his children were eating sour beans. They were eating sour soup. They had to put vinegar in it. Oh, they ain't never think Lil Elijah, that's not the one he gonna select. And when he selected Lil Elijah, everything that was in their hearts and their minds manifested. Imagine people who you love that are not in favor of a blessing that's bestowed upon you. That hurts. You can that hurts. When it's your own, now it wasn't only friends, his own biological brother said that I'm going to eat a grain of rice every day until I see you dead. Oh, that's a whole different betrayal. I might see my high school friend, but my biological brother, is that right?
Yes, sir.
And then Elijah had to go on a run for 7 years, popping in and out of town every so often to see his family, where he had to sneak through the back door, sometimes in disguises. And he was running not because he was afraid of them, but he did not want to harm them, the same people who manifest envy toward him. I can't say I want to do that.
That's right.
Like you envy me, then we might just need to do what we got to do. But look at his heart. That God had raised a man that even those who are envious of him, he still will want to save them. That's a hell of a thing, is that right? He was running around eating, I started to Google it, but I think the hulls of the peanut, that's the stuff that hold the peanut. He was eating the hulls of peanuts. Now that's very hungry. I don't care if you could put seasoning on it, whatever. The hulls of peanuts, and he was eating them while on the run, is that right? While ducking attempts on his life. There are stories where the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that he was coming out of a place one time and he ran into one of the ones that wanted to kill him. And the man reached into his waistband to get the gun and was frozen solid. Think about that. Where you see somebody, they're about to get the gun and they just literally freeze. Think about walking away from an experience like that. You will know that God has me. And I know that God has me not because what I read from a Quran and what I read from the Bible. No, because I personally experienced. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Now, there were moments where the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's faith was tested. There were moments where he said he got on the train, he was about to head back. But like every true believer, all we need is a reminding. All we need is a reminding. He said he heard the voice of God speaking to him when it said that, do you think you'll be left alone, believe, and not be tried? And all he needed was to hear that verse, and he was back on his path. So what it teaches us, there are going to be moments where our faith is going to take a dip. There are going to be moments where we're going to take a knee. There are going to be moments where we might be knocked down. But the goal is get back up. Get back up and get back in the fight. Is that right? Because as long as we still in the fight, guess what? We still can win. But as long as we lay down, we laying down for the 10 count. Is that right? So then, after the 7 years, then he get arrested by this low-down government. Saying, oh, you trying to evade the war. Now, you've been away from your family for 7 years and now 5 years in prison for a crime you're not guilty of because he was too old to be drafted. But it didn't stop Elijah's faith. He continued to call people into Islam. There's a whiteboard. There's a lot of people that write books about the nation every year to get their dissertations, get their PhDs. There's a whiteboard that wrote a book. It's called Those Who Know Don't Say. And what he is saying from his research, how the Nation of Islam in the prisons were responsible for many of these prison reforms that we see today. Because the brothers used to write numerous letters for complaints and filed I can't think of the wording, but then he talks about how they were doing this. Well, that started when the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was in prison, stopping them from feeding us poor. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Then he gets out and he's still under attacks by whites and these sellout Negroes and politicians, telling them that, yeah, that's a voodoo cult. They don't believe in God. They're anti-Christian. But none of this stopped him. Then the nation begins to start growing, and one of his top students turns against him and becomes a great enemy of his.
Come on.
Takes an aspect of his life and slanderizes it. He's a human being as well.
Yes.
That affects him.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Then family members, your own sons, turning and saying that whoever that man was, the man that brought me from being a drunkard to being who I am today,
Come on.
and putting you in this house that you are in, you have the audacity to say that he was not who he taught me he was?
God.
Think about that. Well, in your own household, your wife thinks that you are envious and jealous man.
Come on.
But it never stopped his faith. He didn't care what anybody said.
That's right.
He knew what he knew, and he knew who he met, and he didn't care. I was about to say he didn't give a damn, but he didn't care about whatever somebody else said. Is that right? His faith increased, and it never ceased. Listen what the minister says about the messenger. He says this. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad said to me, if 10,000 enemies were standing out front of my door, I would not fear. Imagine what he had to go through to get him to have that type of faith. 10,000? Then he said, and in one speech he said, I feel so strong that I could go down the street dragging 2 lions behind me. What made his faith that strong? What he had been through and what God had delivered him from. Is that right?
Yes.
And his faith inspired the minister. The minister says, well, where was his strength? Where did his strength come from? What sustained him for 44 years in the midst of the worst opposition and constant threats of death?
Come on.
He was sustained because he knew his place of refuge. He sought it completely and found it and stayed there. I mean, he didn't just go and then when things start getting better, let me go back out.
In the way.
No, he found it and he stayed there.
Come on, teach.
So the minister says, if you believe in him, then you will seek and find in him that place of refuge. Farrakhan, why would you believe in this man as your source of comfort, peace, and security? Why would you place your trust in him? I do so because before I knew a place of trust, I found a man who put his complete trust in Master Farrakhan Muhammad and grew to know him as the only place of refuge. Right? Look at the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, a man who 30 days in the Nation of Islam, the word comes down, and they say you got to give up your music. And the minister said that he did not hesitate, right?
That's right.
He said within seconds, he said that I can live without music, but I can't live without truth, right? Then he also had the faith to revive the nation after it had fallen. After his faith had to be revived, right? Despite the dangers where people wanted to kill the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, right? Then when he began to start reviving his faith, his own family began to start having their faith coming back. He talked about when he first decided to raise the nation, he came back home and he met Joshua, the first one. And he said that, Dad, are you rebuilding? He said, yes, sir. He said, then I'm with you.
Go ahead.
And the minister said immediately there was a change in his home. There was a change in the type of meals that were cooked when he cooked it, when it was being cooked, when he had fallen and weakened faith. Is that right?
Yes.
Then his daughter talks about in his book, Closing the Gap, where he talks about how when he was minutes away from his death, when they were hanging him upside down to get the blood flowing in him,
Yes.
the minister was thanking God.
Yes.
That God, if I leave right now, I thank you.
Yes.
He was thanking God, and when he came out of that, he didn't even realize it, which means that was in his very being,
Come on.
being grateful despite the circumstances. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
So when we look at this is not, brothers and sisters, I lift up the minister in the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, but always remember, it's to be an example for you and I.
Yes.
It ain't, we fail if we just think about their faith, his faith. What about you and my faith? Right? So when we think about their faiths, the next time we're dealing with somebody that shows envy and jealousy, then we should think about how they relied on their faith to get past it. What should we do?
Yes, sir.
Is that right? We should, when the next time when we feel betrayed by those who love us, think about how they handled it and use it as a blueprint for you and I to know how to navigate that situation, right? The next time we experience a fall in our lives and we want to begin to start rebuilding, think about their faith and begin to start rebuilding our lives. The next time we face a challenging situation, think about their faith and let their faith inspire our faith, and we can give our own testimony.
Yes, sir.
It's interesting how the Bible says in the end, it says that the dragon was defeated by the blood of the Lamb.
Word.
And the minister talks about how the lamb, the blood just means the life, the example.
Come on.
But then it says by the power of their testimony. What's your testimony?
Go ahead.
What has God delivered you from that you haven't told anybody?
Yeah.
Huh? What overwhelming situation that you didn't think that you didn't see the light at the end of the tunnel, but God delivered you.
Yes, yes.
You don't think there's other people who are experiencing the same thing, that they're looking for somebody to say, I was where you were?
Yes.
I was in the barber shop yesterday, and there was a young brother, he was there with his son, and his son had got suspended because he didn't want to turn in his cell phone. And I was sharing with the brother, I said, man, it's a blessing to have a father in your life, to be able to give you guidance.
Yes.
And brothers can, sisters, y'all can relate to this too, but I'm just saying brothers. Like, it's a blessing. Imagine the blessing of having an older, mature man in your life when you go through your first heartbreak. Oh, that hurts, huh? Oh, I don't know if you ever been through one of them. But imagine having an adult man who's been through 1, 2, 3 and say, you're going to be all right. You're going to make it through. Same for sisters.
Yes.
Because oftentimes our children go through those real experiences and they don't have adults, and they're getting the guidance to try to navigate that through other children.
Come on. Teach.
And it's the blind leading the blind.
Leading us in.
Or they turn into rap music. They turn into television. But imagine having a mature adult there
Yes.
to say, you're going to feel this way.
Yes.
You're going to have these emotions. You're going to have this pain. You're going to be angry. But young brother, young sister, I was there too. I didn't want to come out my house. I didn't want to go out with my friends. But there's going to come a point in your life, you're going to look back at it, and as strange as it is, you're going to be thankful for that heartbreak.
Yes.
Because that heartbreak is going to help you see clearer. That's the benefit of guidance. Is that right? So, I spoke earlier, as we get ready to bring this to a close, I spoke earlier about how Hagar's fate became a part of one of the most important rituals in Islam, where she came to know God backs her, and it became the sacred city of Islam known as Mecca, right? And millions of people travel there every year. But her experience was not just to set up what's in Mecca. Her experience is also a sign of what the chosen people of God in America will go through. So teacher the Most High Elijah Muhammad, the black man and woman. So we're here in America. Do you know what Hagar, the name, means? In Hebrew, Hagar means a stranger. It means a foreigner. And if that is the case, how does that relate to this verse in the Bible? The Lord said to Abraham, you can be sure that your descendants will be a stranger in a foreign land.
Teach now.
How does that relate to us? And she was in a wilderness. And the teacher of the Most High Elijah Muhammad described America as a wilderness.
Teach.
And if you look at black people, what are we doing? We've been taken out of the house of God. And we running back and forward. One president, if you don't vote, this president right here is going to cause us hell. They said that about Bush. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
They said that about Bush. They said that about Reagan. Now they're saying it about Trump.
That's right.
And we running back and forth. What are we going to do? They cut an affirmative action. They talking about defunding HBCUs. They talking about taking away food stamps. We running back and forth saying, where's our help?
Yes. Come from the
Is
Lord.
that right? Now, you know what's interesting? When they go and do the ritual in Mecca, they run 7 times between both mountains. Why 7? Why not 8? Why not 3? They run 7 times, and they said Hagar ran 7 times.
Lord.
What does that have to do with the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said that in the 7,000 year, God will come?
Come on.
Because it was after her 7th time running that she stopped, that an angel appeared
Come on.
and let her know that here's the water you need. Is that right?
Teach.
How does that relate to the book of Revelation where it says, chapter 10, verse 7, that this 7th angel is going to come and he's going to make known the mystery of God?
Come on.
Is it a coincidence that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was born in October, the 7th day?
Yes.
And he said that God has raised him to make known the mystery of God?
Yes.
Well, our people running back and forth, and every once in a while you listen to the Charlemagnes, you listen to people, and they say, man, everything that black folk can benefit from, Elijah Muhammad already said it.
Come on. Everything.
You listen to the David Banners, you listen to the Killer Mikes. But our people's legs haven't gotten tired yet.
Yes.
We want to keep running. We keep looking to the hills, looking for the one day this white man is going to just see me for who I am. I was listening to this pastor on Roland Martin, and he was talking about, I'm one of the few pastors that's out here challenging Trump. And he is speaking about Trump. But as I listen, I still heard in him this belief that one day these white folks are going to be kind and accept us. And I say, that's the thing you don't understand.
Teach.
The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, you're dealing with a people who have no mercy. As Kendrick Lamar said, they're not like us.
That's right. Teach.
And you keep thinking that one day they're just going to accept us.
Go ahead. Teach.
Even when they gave us what we thought to be equality, it did not match theirs. Look at it, the Supreme Court. They said separate but equal. But what was their understanding of equal? They had the cold refrigerated water fountain. We had the little hot water fountain.
Go ahead. Teach.
That's their understanding of equality.
Right.
So God is just patient and say, I'm going to allow you to keep tiring yourself out.
Ooh.
And every year, he's going to do something even worse and worse to you.
Yes. Yes.
Until at some point, you're going to see. So now, if you're noticing, you see Roland Martin, he was speaking bold when he was on CNN, but he's speaking even bolder now.
Yes.
Because he's not confined to them paying him. You see our sister Joy Reid. She don't realize that was the best thing that they could have done to her to get off of MSNBC.
Yes.
Now she's speaking it, right?
Yes.
You're seeing those, even Candace Owens and some of us stuff, where she's starting to take certain stances.
Oh, yeah.
Got some ways to go, some apologies to make.
Right. Right.
But God is putting that fire. When this white man put more and more fire on us, we're going to begin to start looking to do for self.
Right.
And we can't get caught up because it's not a headpiece, because it's not a suit and bow tie. But what's the principle?
Yes.
The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad said, educate your children. And we see the news reports saying that black people are growing in homeschooling.
Yes.
Should we not applaud that?
Yes, sir.
Is that not educate your children? When you seeing black folks now, and you in the city of New Orleans, you seeing vegan spots open up in New Orleans,
Go ahead.
where they put crawfish on everything,
Right.
and you sit on donuts, nacho. I'm like, man, I just want nachos and cheese. Why we got a crawfish tail in it? And black folks eating right, black folks growing their hair natural. That's all signs of we loving ourselves, right? Praises. When you see, they're practicing some native African religion, but they're getting. Did not the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad say we had to get away from the white man's religion? They're taking African names. Did he not say give their name? We're gonna be tripped out because he ain't El Aziz. We gotta fall in love with the principle of it. And when we see that, when we see the principle, we see our people are resurrected.
Yes. Yes.
The goal is to get away from this white man's sickness. That's the goal.
Yes, sir.
And when you see our people doing it, applaud it, because that's what they're striving to do. Because they still could be somewhere believing in a white Jesus. Is that right? And when you go back and look at it, and I'm not saying this to say, it's documented. Because many of the thinkers that are influencing them were influenced either directly or indirectly by the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. The Black Panthers, Dr. Sabi, the hip-hop artists. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Either directly or indirectly. So let's celebrate the change.
Yes, sir.
Is that right? So the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, he said this. What he said about the well of Zamzam. He said, if you read the Quran and the Bible, I'm the only one who Allah will hold responsible for you not getting the truth. Because he gave me the truth.
Yes, sir.
The way he gave it to me is like a flowing spring or like a flowing fountain. The fountain has enough drink in it to give everyone a drink that comes to drink.
Yes, sir.
You don't need a new fountain.
Yes.
Just try drinking up what this fountain has to drink.
Yes, yes.
Right? Then he says this. In the holy city of Mecca, there is a well there. It's the well of Zamzam. I had a picture of it. The righteous drink of this water, but they shall drink the spiritual truth from Allah, which they will never be able to get to the end of it. It's so much.
Yes.
Now that this sign here is a sign of the truth which the messenger brings to you. He is the well himself. The well is a man. There's a well as a man that's connected to the eternal God, that has a body of knowledge that all who drink of it, if they drink it and they digest it and they do it on a regular basis, they can become better.
Come on. Teach.
True Islam, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan said, doesn't make you into an Arab.
Come on.
The minister said true Islam is like water.
Yes, sir.
When a lion drinks water, it don't make it into a giraffe. It don't make a giraffe into a monkey. It makes it more of a lion. It makes it more of what it is. That's what the teaching of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad is, to make you more and I more of what we are. Is that right? And that who we are is the original black man and woman, right? So brothers and sisters, this story is not over. The same God who turned Hagar's running into a sacred ritual, who turned Abraham's obedience into scripture, and who turned the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's endurance into a movement, that same God is still writing blueprints today.
Correct. Correct.
And he intends to write one for your and my life.
Yes, sir.
Right? So when you feel like your faith is standing alone, stand anyway.
Yes, sir.
Is that right? When no one believes in your vision, believe anyway. Is that right? When the well is not yet visible, like she did, keep running. Is that right? Because just as water flowed at Hagar's feet, God will cause truth, life, and power to flow from your and my perseverance. And one day someone will walk the path that you paved and thank Allah for your faith. May Allah continue to bless us. All praises due to Allah. I don't know. I accept